Hey, my darling. So, I usually get some comments about grown women being spanked by, from women that are just like, you're an adult, you're not a child, da da da, and all this kind of stuff. And I understand, where you're coming from. However, I've been studying, male female relationships for over 20 years. And the women that I know personally, whew, the majority of them would have liked it, and actually many have expressed the fact that they desire that, especially once they found out about me. They're like, gosh, I feel like I can't tell anybody, so it's something that women feel ashamed to have a desire for, which is just a shame in itself. But, I can't tell you the number of women that I have watched literally destroy their own marriages, wreck their homes, push and push and push and push their husbands, trying to get them to respond to them. And the man thinks he's doing the honorable thing by ignoring her or, just letting her have her way or whatever. And she becomes more and more depressed to the point where I've seen women go out and cheat on their husbands and get caught. They wanted to get caught, hoping that it would create enough of an emotional response that she felt like, oh, he loves me. He loves me enough to save me from myself. This is something that women do. I have watched so many women ruin their homes, and then they look at their husband with disgust because he didn't have the cojones to put his foot down. Okay, just telling you the truth. So, I've watched women that, maybe their husband had an affair. I mean, this is when I was a little bit younger, and older women that I knew with families, maybe friends of mine or whatever, the kids where we were friends. And, and they ruined their whole home. Most of the time, the men did not want to break up their families. Okay. So it's something that could have been worked through. And instead, they decided to be a single mother and raise their children on their own, which was a detriment to all of them. So if a man, if a woman does not feel like the man she's chosen or said yes to has what it takes to set a firm boundaries, foundation, willing to exercise his authority, she will not have respect for him. And it's funny because, women push and push and we say, oh, we want it. Can we just do this one thing? Can we just do this? Can we just do that? And every time a man gives in, she thinks, I got him, and she loses a little respect for him. Every time he says no, she might pout, she might be upset, she might be mad, but she inside respects him for sticking to his guns. There are always little exceptions here and there when you've been married a long time, and sometimes, my husband will give in to me on certain things. It's very rare because usually he's thought about something quite thoroughly before he's made a decision. But and the other women that I know that are closer to my age range, completely out of order. Again, the minority, I'd say less than 5% of the relationships that I know, the man left for another woman or something. The majority of the time, the woman left. She thought, I can do better. He's not on my level. I have a better education than him, which he supported so that you could get that education. But anyway, and then you get your degree and leave him. That's real nice. But anyway, and then they don't do better. The majority of the time, they are dating men that are worse than what their husband was. And I can't tell you the number of women that I've heard say, from articles to personal experience, say they never met anybody that loved them the way that their first husband did. Okay. Most of the problems I see are the fact that women don't understand that men are different. They are a whole different species than us. They communicate differently. They're much more direct. We think they're hurting our feelings, but they're really just trying to help us. And they're disciplinarians. They're harsher. They keep things in order because they know that if things are not in order, it leads to destruction and chaos. And that just seems to be women's natural state. I mean, there's very few women that are doing just fine all by themselves. The majority of them are having all kinds of problems. And that's not, something that I made up. The CDC says that 1 in 4 or 66% or whatever of women are on antidepressants or head med drugs. Why is that? We're taking on way more burden than we're supposed to. And we're not listening to our men. We don't want them to control us, and we don't want them to tell us what to do. But that's what they're supposed to do. So the discipline part just helps keep everybody in check. Keeps you in check. Now, and if your kid, now my kids know, because I don't keep secrets like that. I'm pretty open about things. So, and it's not like some kind of graphic thing or something. It's just, hey, daddy he'll put it down, So it's like if your kids know daddies will spank mommy, well, guess what? They know that he'll spank them too. It's just, they also know that if mama listens to daddy, they need to listen to daddy too. It's just everything, it flows in order. And women follow what their mother does in regards to the rules and things set up by daddy. It's very, very important. And kids that grow up with the right morals and respect and reverence, a good healthy fear, like you fear the Lord, that's how you should fear your husband, in a good healthy reverential way. Okay, it's not that you fear for your life, but you you understand the power that he actually has, And so many women just take it for granted, and they look at their husband with just disgust. And I've heard women say, I would probably get up and beat up the intruder at night, with a baseball bat and my dog. I don't even need my husband for that. And I'm like, wow, what kind of man did you marry? I'm like, this is terrible. So anyway, I'm like, that's not going to last. But, so women claim to want all this feminist nonsense and freedom and liberation and independence and all that, and then they're completely miserable. So just saying, not every woman needs the same type of discipline or correction, but all women need boundaries. All women need that order and that foundation of like, okay, this is not okay. There are women that are much more sensitive. I happen to be hard-headed and stubborn, and again, this is my idea. I wanted him to do this ever since we were 14 years old. And I've told the story before, how his parents used to just be like, I'll beat your ass. They'd be talking to the kids, like, or it was just a thing that they said. So he used to say it to me, like when I was pushing his buttons, or he'd be like, you're skating on thin ice, and he'd be like, oh, I'll beat your ass. And I was just like, I wish you would, put me right over your knee, right over here on this bench, and let's go. And, but I was too embarrassed to tell him for years, like literally years. And, so it's just natural. It really, really is. And, I can't tell you. I started thinking about all the women I know that are just out here, have abandoned their children, drinking, dating younger guys, hooking up with younger guys. They've made their life a mess. And that's really so much better than being underneath their headship and the discipline and the control of their husband. No, they would have been better off just staying put and doing what they're supposed to do. It's called duty, responsibility, honor. And that's what we're called to do. It breaks my heart. And they're so selfish because they don't think about how their behavior is affecting their children. Their children have to grow up knowing that their mother thought that her little old life and happiness and dreams and lusts and fantasies was more important than them. And that is devastating. That is so psychologically screwing up kids that you guys have no idea. Talk about raising a generation of kids with no conscience. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing if daddy steps out, he, does his own thing or messes up or whatever. But if you lose mama too, woo, it's just a mess. Forget about it, you know? So anyway, I've just seen that with many women I know in my age range, you know, again, 40s, a little younger and a little older, they would have benefited greatly from a man who put them in their place, who said, nope, you're not going to do that. We're not going to do this. This is how it's going to be. And many women, again, push inside, subconsciously or consciously, they want to be set down and told no for their own good, because it shows that man cares about them. It's just how we are. If he just says, go do whatever you want to do, then we're like, oh, well, then you don't really love me. You don't really care about me if you just let me do whatever I want to do. And then I am going to go do whatever I want to do, and I'm going to self-destruct. I mean, literally, you know, and if I've been with Ron, God bless. I know that a lot of women are going to have a hard time hearing the way that he talks, but he's just like on Dead Chronic. You know, a lot of things are even a lot like Mr. Samuels, and many other greats, Hammerhand. And it's just, if you can get over the language, the truth is the truth. And if we were not in a first world country, it would be a lot easier for us ladies to accept and understand. We literally live by their mercy. We are able to do whatever we do because they allowed us to have these rights. Other countries, you can't walk down the street alone as a woman. You have to have a male escort from your family, you know, and that's for the protection of the woman so she doesn't get raped or something, because that is how they work over there, you know. If you're a woman unaccompanied, you're basically like a prostitute, you know, you're open for business. I mean, it's pretty serious. So anyway, that's a whole nother story, but basically, you know, they can't drive in certain countries. I mean, all the rights that we have been given to us. And not only that, they went above and beyond to lower standards in like everything so that they could qualify to be police officers and firefighters and in the military and, you know, get certain jobs or CEOs or STEM program. They've lowered the requirements. And I always said, how are we equal if they have to lower the requirements for us to get into these programs? It is such bull. So anyway, it's just, we're fooling ourselves. So, you know, some of us ladies can accept it and understand it, you know, and especially maybe because my husband has a dangerous job and I'm like, there's no way I could do what he does. I could not. I wouldn't make it a day. And makes me almost want to cry because he has literally sacrificed himself, his body, his, you know, state of mind, his well-being, everything, all the burden that he's carried for us to make sure I've had a happy life, raising the kids at home and, you know, basically doing what I want to do besides for having my little jobs done, you know, and taking care of the house. Are you kidding me? That is like, it's like winning the lottery. And women have the nerve to call it slavery. I've had women tell me that, oh, you shouldn't just be a slave. And I've had women tell me I'm a liability. And I'm like, okay, maybe if I didn't do anything, but I do everything that he wants me to do and then some. So anyway, it's really something, but they hate that I can stay at home. They hate that I serve my husband. Whatever. Oh, well, you guys are the unhappy ones. So it is what it is. But order in this crazy world is crucial. And some women more than others need more help staying in line, you know, and behaving themselves and whatnot, whatever you want to call it, staying in order, you know. And I think that the younger a woman is trained and disciplined by her man, the better, the easier it's going to be. Most of the stuff that ends up going on around here is more for fun. It's more playful. Every once in a blue moon, it's something that I actually, like, I did something that was dangerous, you know, or, you know, I've given you guys examples before, but basically, like, when I was drinking, if I had a couple drinks, I'm not supposed to drink and then drive home, you know, that kind of thing. Even I was like, it was just around the corner. Doesn't matter. That was bad. You're in trouble, you know. Or one time I paid back one of our sons before I asked him, and he's like, you don't give those boys money without until I tell you to. So I got in trouble for that. So it's just things that, in your own house that your man feels is important, So it's just giving him the the freedom and really the reverence that's due to appreciate what he should actually be able to do, which is keep his house in order. However he feels he needs to do that. Again, safe, sane, consensual, two adults, we agree. Again, I asked him to do these things, and so it's not like I trust him with my whole life. I trust him with my body. I trust him with whatever. I trust this man completely. Again, since we're 14 years old, I love him with everything that I have. I can't, God forbid the day if he passes before me, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. But, so you have to have said yes to a good-willed man. You can't be with a very angry, violent, person that has drug or alcohol addictions and then expect to have a safe, sane, consensual domestic discipline relationship. Okay. So you have to have some sense, and hopefully you're choosing right to begin with. But if you're in a good relationship like we've had and you trust the person that you're with, it's a wonderful experience. You have no idea what you're missing until you've tried it. I'm just saying. There pretty much is, I don't know if there's anything more feminine than being, having your bare ass over your husband's knee and getting a spanking. I'm just saying, like, what's more womanly than that? I'm not really sure. But anyway, so, you're just giving him full authority, full control. And what ends up happening when you give your husband freedom, and that means just freedom, I don't tell him what to do about anything, he tells me, they end up, at least in my personal experience, doing more and more and more to actually try to make you happy, to try to be a good man, to be even better than he was before. Even like with the whole thing of, do you want a second wife? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? All that kind of stuff. He was so touched in his heart that I would try so hard to find out what would make him happy, that he was just like, all I want's you, babe. You make me more than happy. I don't need anything else, And even though we kind of talked it all out and had, some fun with the fantasy of the idea of all these things, ultimately through the whole process, and to this day, he's like, I don't need anything else. I'm more than happy with you. I love you. You're all I need. You're my queen, yada, yada. So, again, another woman would have been afraid, and that could have ruined the whole marriage. That's why I give, Mr. Samuel so much praise for that particular topic, because I really could have destroyed everything out of my imagination, out of my fear. But instead I decided to just like buck up and face all my fears. So that's what I've been doing. And it's a paradox. Life is a paradox. You give your life away to gain your life. It's just how it is. You gain so much by surrendering to your husband. You gain everything. You gain freedom by surrendering to God, to your husband. It's an incredible experience. So, but you got to be brave, and you got to give it your all. You really have to believe and try. You can't just, oh, maybe I'll put one little tiptoe in and see if it works. And as soon as your feelings are hurt, you're like, oh, it didn't work. You have to be in it to win it. I'm telling you, you can't just try. You got to really give it. You really got to go for it. Okay. So study what you have to study. If you believe in God, study the scriptures. There's plenty of talk in there about, even discipline isn't pleasant for the moment, but it brings, I don't know, how I should look up the scripture. Something about like it brings good results later. I don't remember what the exact words are, and I don't remember where it is, but it's in there. It might be in Hebrews, but in any case, there's quite a few things about correction and how God corrects us, and he corrects those that he loves. So your husband is your Lord. He's your master. He is, Christ Jesus in your home, representation of him. And again, I've told you even in other religions. So, but, I'm just going on and on now. So I'm going to go. I got work to do. But I just thought I would put that out there. I could list the very unfortunate broken homes all day. It's very, very sad. We are, wow, I think we're the only married couple left in all the friends that we have known for 20 something years. I don't know, but I don't let my ego go. I have no ego. I have no ego. I make sure I build up my husband's ego. I am incredibly grateful, very humble, and he could have whatever he wants if he wanted it, and he chooses to give me the passion and the love, and tell me I'm his queen and treat me that way, and he's amazing. So I would never F that up. That would be stupid. But it does take years and time and work and dedication and keeping the right mindset. As soon as you start effing up your mindset and thinking, oh, I'm the prize. Oh, I got all these guys looking and talking to me. Are you kidding me? You better be smart enough to know they just want to put the D in, and ain't nobody going to take care of you like your husband. All right. There's no way. I wouldn't even dream of it. So anywho, love you guys. Ciao. Bye.